Okay, everybody, I am still mass recording videos while I am sick. But, anyways, today we're going to be reacting to what email was in World War II. Pretty interesting subject. This video was made by Mark Felton. I'm sure a lot of you have saw him. He makes really good videos on World War II, World War I, Vietnam War, that kind of stuff. Just history in general. So, yeah, should be an interesting video. I think it's pretty interesting. I hate email, by the way. I really do. Email is terrible. You get a million of them and you can't even... There's no mass read. I hate it. Maybe there is and I'm stupid. Also, yes, not happy about the past two races. I get it. You don't need to make fun of me in the comment. Email in World War II. VMail, I think. Yep, VMail. Guessing it's like they mail you something.
In the pre-email era, letter writing was the most important form of communication, and especially so for soldiers, sailors, and airmen serving overseas, far from home. But the sheer bulk of letters and parcels heading overseas to units was astounding, and required an enormous logistics organization that could have been better employed, moving munitions, vehicles, supplies, men, and equipment.
It's crazy.
Mail remained absolutely
how many soldiers were there in in the United States Army? I'm sure it was over 1 million serving in both fronts. That is a lot of mail.
As it was all that connected the soldier at the front with loved ones and family back home. Morale was seriously eroded when mail supplies were interrupted due to combat actions or supply difficulties, often caused by bad weather events. The military constantly looked at how the great bulk of mail could be reduced in volume and weight, and in how the delivery system could be simplified and most importantly,
VMail, is that what it is?
The system the US military came up with was called VMail, the V standing for victory. Under the normal system, it required 37 mail bags to hold 150,000 single-page letters, weighing 2,575.
150,000 letters. Jeez, it's a lot.
Pounds. The new VMail system reduced 150,000 letters to one mailbag and weighed only 45 pounds. How was this possible?
Yeah.
Well, the method had been pioneered by the British Imperial Airways, today's British Airways, in the 1930s, working in association with Kodak and Pan Am.
Okay.
They wanted to reduce the weight and bulk of mail carried aboard
Look at that plane. Okay. I gotta take time to appreciate. That plane looks gigantic. The wings are on top of it, and it's got like... Okay, it looks like it's got 3 on this side, which means it's got 3 on the other. 6 engines? Wow. No wonder it can carry like millions of letters. Wow, that's a gigantic plane.
Could put more passengers aboard. This led to the airgraph.
Okay.
VMail followed the same process as the airgraph, but on a massive scale. The sender wrote a one-page...
I sent you... okay. They probably should have added lines so they could have made it better. Anyways, Nancy needs to get some better handwriting. Pour on.
A special VMail form. These were collected together at your local post office or by the unit at the front and then sorted for overseas shipment. Special machines opened the letters and photographed each and assigned tracking numbers. The original letters were filed until the overseas station acknowledged receipt of the microfilm containing the photographic negatives of the letters. Then the original letters would be destroyed to save space.
This plane is landing in Italy. Each bag of mail it carries contains 136,000 letters. Back in America, each letter was reduced to a tiny strip of film.
It's cool. I like how people back in the day, when they have like the craziest voices for these videos. They have like, they landed in a gigantic airplane on the airbase in Argentina. Why Argentina? I don't know.
Now near the front, automatic machines enlarge each overseas letter from
how do you get your voice to sound like that?
Negative to a 4x5-inch print. These strips are dried, carefully inspected, and cut into individual letters.
A machine
I would hate that being my
letters.
job. Just all day, probably, back then, probably 10 hours a day just cutting letters. Probably be better than fighting, though.
And place them into envelopes. Then they were delivered. The process worked both ways, so soldiers overseas could send VMails to loved ones back home.
In the censorship section, anything that might reveal vital military information is cut out.
It was much faster than regular mail, as huge amounts of letters could be...
When you have the censorship thing, couldn't you just, like, if you really wanted to send something secretive, couldn't you, if they have to just go through tens of thousands of letters a day, couldn't you just add in some sort of code that you've done pre-war? Like, before you got deployed, if you really wanted to send something secretive back, just like a number code. But they'd probably, I guess I'd notice it, but maybe you could add it, like, just like a normal thing. You probably could find a way.
Flown on aircraft on rolls of film, meaning
computers
was
are a little
much
bit better
more
at that.
immediate, and morale was concomitantly increased.
Americans overseas
Actually, now that I say that, computers probably would be really terrible at picking up on hidden things, because they just think, oh yes, just misspelling.
letters. Nearly every transport plane that spans the ocean brings its quota
They're
of
so
mail.
happy.
In just a few days,
Can't blame 'em, though.
female letters from home reach servicemen in every theater of war.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and share, and also visit my audiobook.
Interesting. Very interesting, actually. I don't think... What we've learned from this is... That is a lot of letters. That is a lot of letters. And he makes good videos. Goodbye. Interesting. I hate email, by the way. I really do. Email is terrible.
Bazinga!